Hi, and welcome to Prepping Essentials. Good morning, it's 6:15 on Saturday the 29th of May. Just making my way down to the land, and as always, not quite sure what we're going to get done today, but let's find out. Well, here we are down on the land, and as you can see, brilliant sunshine peeking over the trees. It was foggy as I was driving in. It is still a little bit wet on the ground. I don't know if you'll see it or not, but maybe you can see it on my hand, I don't know. But that sun should, in theory, soon dry out, and maybe we can get that grass finished that we started last weekend. But right now it is a beautiful looking morning. Don't know if you can see everything in the hedgerow is starting to bloom. Look at these hawthorn flowers. Beautiful. And they are literally everywhere on the field. Same with the little trees. You can see all these little catkins sprouting out. Beautiful, beautiful to see. So, as always, not quite sure what we'll get done. We'll be making it up as we go along. But whatever we are doing, doesn't really matter on a day like this, does it? It's just beautiful. I don't know if you can see the rabbit popping across the field there. Come into my pie, Mr. Rabbit. Yeah, it doesn't really matter on a day like this. I'd be quite happy just sitting on my chair, looking out over the field. Beautiful morning. Absolutely beautiful. But I won't be doing that. Well, I might for 5 minutes with the coffee. But I'll be trying to get something done today. Be very interesting to see what's happened with the planting during the course of this last week. I'm expecting some nice surprises, but as always I'll keep you posted with whatever it is I am doing as we go through the day. Well, as usual, first things first, let's pop and see what's happening with the chickens. They're all congregated because I put my little bag of feed down here, and they'll go crazy now. But I bet you the red ones still come to the door. There we go. And as usual, there's one missing. Where's the other one? Yeah, there's one missing. One of the bluebells is not here. I'm guessing she's laid on the nest box, producing an egg. We'll find out shortly. Let me get the feed sorted out, and we'll pop in the coop and take a look. Well, let's take a little look and see. Oh, nothing there, nothing there. Ah, there we go, look. Now, I wonder if that's because she's broody or because she wants to lay an egg. Because she's not making the normal clucky cluck sound that they make when they're laying. Got 3 eggs in that one. And she's... There we go. Let me leave her in peace. Let her produce. We've got 3 and she's sitting on something. So we'll find out in a little while. I'll be popping back later because I've got my normal little green treat for them. And I'll clear out the mess in the coop as well. But kettle's on, so let me grab my coffee and we'll see what the day brings. Well, good morning, it's the weekend again. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope you are all staying safe and well and have a really great weekend. Yeah, morning chickens. It is a beautiful looking morning this morning. I hope I'm not tempting fate by saying that, but the fog that was clouding the road on the way in has lifted here on the field, and as you saw, it's a beautiful bit of sunshine coming out over those trees. So fingers crossed we'll have a really nice day today. It's always nice, in truth, even when the weather isn't great. It is nice just to be down here, kick back and get away from the normal day-to-day. Shut up. Get away from the day-to-day humdrum of normal life. I am really tempted to just pull the chair outside and sit and look rather than actually do anything productive. I won't, of course. I'll do something today. But it's not often we get a morning like this where it's birdsong and cockerels crowing and beautiful sunshine. Dear. Anyway, whatever I do get up to, I'll keep you posted with little clips of video as we go through the day. Outside in the big wide world, focus really has got to be economy. And kind of tied in with that supply chain. I did pop a little comment out on the community tab yesterday. I did what I normally do on a Friday on the way home from work. Called in at the supermarket just to pick up the normal bits that I take every weekend. I never buy that much now, in all honesty. I've got so much food stored away, whether that's in the attic, the roof space of the house as long-term storage, or whether that's in the kitchen pantry. So I don't actually need to buy hardly anything. It is mainly fresh vegetables for the evening meals through the week, and that's generally a combination of carrots, potato, cauliflower, broccoli, because that's what I eat with pretty much all of my meals. Kind of intersperse it with rice, or if I'm being naughty, maybe some chips, some French fries. But that isn't very often. And I did notice, as has been the case for, well, months now, pretty much all of this year so far, quality of the vegetables is pretty shocking. The cauliflowers are small, and if they are there, they're looking very old. It must be taking them ages coming through the supply chain. I'm guessing from sort of southern Europe, Spain, I'm guessing. So yeah, the quality's poor. The potatoes were still, by the look of it, using last year's leftovers. The bigger ones have now disappeared completely, and you're left with those very small mini potatoes. They're the ones that would normally go for canning, and I'm guessing that was disrupted during 2020 with factory closures, I'm guessing. But they're the ones that are on the shelf now in the supermarkets. And again, in fact, I've brought some down with me today, with a view to planting those in the next few weeks. They're chitting already, they're sprouting. So yeah, no change there in terms of availability and quality of fresh produce. I did pick up a bottle of body wash, some toothpaste and some shaving foam. Not that I need it, I've just topped up because I've got, I must be heading towards 2 years worth of toiletries stored away, and every so often I'll just pick up a bottle or a tub or a can, whatever it's packed in, and prices of those have definitely gone up this past year. I'm guessing that's because they're connected with the petrochemical industry. Again, it's pure speculation on my part. Or is it inflation? This inflation that government tells us doesn't really exist. It does exist because prices are going up for sure. But one other thing that I noticed, which is what I commented on, I kind of got sidetracked there, was fuel, vehicle fuel. And again, I don't really know why this has suddenly reared its head, but for the last 2 weeks, when I finish my shopping, I normally just call in at that fuel station at the supermarket. And for the last 2 weeks, there's been a shortage of diesel fuel. Out of the, I don't know how many pumps there are, 14, 16 pumps. There were 4 pumps available for diesel. The rest were all shut off. So once you kind of think, oh, okay, it's just bad timing. But I do hit the supermarket and the petrol station at the same time every single Friday, without fail. But yeah, that's 2 weeks in a row that diesel fuel has been in short supply. And nobody, out of the people that's commented so far on that post, nobody else has said that they've encountered the same problem here in the UK. So it might just be me. And my supermarket being slack in its resupply, clearly is in vegetables. But I don't know, I just thought I'd mention it and to see if anybody else was having the same issues. In terms of jobs today, I've got a variety of things. You can't see them, they're off camera, but I've got a box down here that arrived during the week. I've got a packet over here that arrived during the week. They're connected with little construction type projects I've got planned over the coming weeks. Oh, I forgot, there's another packet on the workbench over there. Will I show you those? I suppose I can, it doesn't hurt. Nothing exciting, so don't get all giddy thinking it's going to be a beehive or something. Talking about which, we were, Simon, my friend who's got the bees, we were thinking about doing it last weekend, but I think I mentioned it in the video. The weather was just shocking. Now I know he has been busy working this week, so probably hasn't had a chance to think about it. So I must make a point of catching up. Simon, if you're watching, let's make a date, beekeeping date, over the coming weekends. Hopefully this bit of sunshine we've got this weekend is a sign of things to come, and you might see them arriving on the field fairly shortly. But yeah, I've got a few bits and pieces I want to do. I do want to take a tour with you round the planting so you can see what's been happening this past week. As usual, I've got to get in and clear out the mess in the chicken coop, and we'll see what that chicken's been doing in there, whether she's been laying eggs, which I suspect it was given the racket she was making as I left, or whether she's broody. Broody chickens is something I've got on my mind as we go through summer and head towards the back end of the year. Whether these chickens will turn out to be broody and hatch eggs out, I don't yet know. But I was toying with the idea of getting one of these little egg incubators and trying my hand at rearing some chicks from eggs. So if anybody has experience of that, please do feel free to pop some comments in the comment section or send me some links to videos that you've found that have been useful for that. So yeah, lots of stuff no big jobs as such, more garden maintenance and perhaps planning for the next little construction type project. But whatever I'm doing, I will keep you posted as we go through the video. So let me stop talking and get this coffee down me, and hopefully you're having a similar experience weather-wise wherever you are today, and you have a really nice weekend. I'll just pop back in the chicken coop to have a clear out. I've got my little bucket for the mess that they produce in various places around the coop. I am pleased actually that they're starting to roost on this perch now, which they weren't before, but clearly some of them still are roosting outside the nest box. I wish they'd get out of that habit. Oh, cockroach coming to have a look. What do you want? Don't be coming in here thinking I'm feeding you, because I'm not. That chicken has produced an egg, but clearly there's 3 more under there as well. So I've got those 4 plus the 3 in that other nest box that you saw earlier. So really that's 6 from yesterday, and she clearly laid one this morning as the first one of today. So 6 for yesterday. We've already started today's production. I called in Thursday night and picked up 11, which was Wednesday and Thursday production. So it is 6 per day, which is great. The little red one's coming in, look. I've got nothing. I'm coming to clear your mess up, so don't get all excited. Anyway, let me get cracked on and clear this out, collect the eggs, and then we'll get outside and take a little look at the garden area, and maybe some of those things I brought down today. Well, I've just cleared out the chicken coop, and I'm popping, well, you can see there, look, that's Thursday's clearing out. This is today's clearing out. So this, mixed in with the grass, which is already starting to break down from last weekend, should give me a really good bit of compost for next year. I've got last year's sat in this bin. I mean, regular viewers of the channel will know that I emptied out those other bins into one bin. It was back end of the year, can't remember exactly when it was, but when I did it, it completely filled this end bin, and you can see now it's dropped to about 3/4 full. So that's the compost, or will be the compost that I'll be using next year instead of buying it from the shops. So, as with everything, it's all an experiment. In all honesty, I have no idea how good, bad or indifferent that'll be. But I'm hoping that by the back end of the year, that'll be ready for topping up the raised beds, ready for the spring plant next year. And whatever I've gathered up this year will get kicked out into that bin and repeat as we go through successive years. The sun is out on the field now, you can see it, so I'm hopeful that little red tractor will be out at some point today. We'll have a little tackle of that middle section and see if we can't get that finished off. And I might be tempted to run around this woodland side as well, just to give it another cut, because it is springing back up already in the space of a week. Anyway, let me grab those eggs before I forget, and we'll have a quick 5 minutes in the cabin looking at what I've brought down today, and then we'll run around the planting. Okay, so I'll quickly show you these few bits and pieces that I've got spread out. In fact, let me move the camera onto a tripod, and then you can have a better look. Save me trying to hold it and open things one-handed. First things first, nothing exciting here. This is just a roll of chicken wire. I have got a couple of rolls out in the storage shed. This is really just a top up. In all honesty, I don't know if I've got enough to do what I want to do, but it's a long project. It's not going to be a quick job. this little box down here. Well, actually, it's a bloody heavy big box. This is connected with the chicken wire. This is what's called a post driver, and it's bloody heavy. So essentially, you use this for driving in those stakes, the posts that you saw me bring down, I think it was last weekend. So this just literally drops over the top of the post and rams it down into place. And that's, I don't know how heavy that is. That's got to be about 20 kilos, 25 kilos. It's heavy. So that's that. This other little packet on the bench. This is connected with those paving slabs that you saw me bring down. Again, I think it was last weekend. And all this is just some weed control membrane to go down around the outside of the cabin, and if there's enough, inside the storage shed to cover the floor, because at the minute it's just plain field, it's a grass. So I want to get this on there, and at some point either gravel or pave the inside of the storage shed. So a few bits and pieces there. Oh, one other thing. These are tree guards, plastic tree guards that wrap around the trunk of the fruit trees. Now I've got those extra fruit trees. This is just to help protect them when they eventually do go outside from the critters. I'm hoping we have more success this year than we did last year with the fruit trees, because it was a shame I've lost two trees, two fruit trees, due to rabbits or squirrels or whatever it is that's been eating those. On the bench itself, a few bits and pieces on the bench. You saw this last weekend. I was experimenting with pea seeds to see if I could get them to sprout. These I put in a tray with wet paper towel tissue to see if that would help them to sprout. In all honesty, I'm not convinced. I will try these and see what happens. The other one, remember, I put a load of peas into a bowl of water, let them soak. Again, in all honesty, these are really just turning into mush. Well, there you go, you can see. So that didn't work. But I always share both success and failure, so they won't be getting planted out, whereas these will be getting planted out, and we'll see what happens with those. But again, I'm not really convinced, in all honesty. Doesn't seem to be the year for peas this year. Collected my eggs. One final thing, I mentioned them in the video just now. These are the small potatoes that are now in the supermarkets, and as you can see, they're already chitting. I'm presuming you can see that on the video. They're all sprouting, all of them, and these are new, you know, straight out of the supermarket. So yeah, quality of vegetables in the supermarket this year pretty damned poor, but I will make use of them, because at some point they will get planted out. So talking about planting, let's take a little look outside and see what's happening in the garden. So we'll start out in the garden room. Let's get the not so good out of the way. Marigolds doing fine. Peas, which seems to be the bane of my existence this year, are non-existent. Nor too are the cabbages. The cabbage seeds are planted out. No sign yet of those, and they've been in for 2 weeks. Coming on for 3 weeks, I think. These others, the broccoli and cauliflower, they're getting quite leggy, so they're going to need planting out somewhere. and I will at some point. I'm expecting these are cauliflowers in here, but no sign yet. I'm hoping that they come through. Now on the good stuff. Fruit trees clearly doing very, very well, reaching up towards the ceiling already here in the garden room, so no complaints with those. Nor are there any complaints about these true potato seeds. Huge growth on these now, doing really well, and they will just sit there. Not quite sure what that is on that leaf, but it is only on that one plant and not on every leaf on that plant. Anybody got any ideas what that is? Nothing on the back. Yeah, so true potato seeds doing very, very well, and really excited to see what happens in terms of how many tubers I get off those. Strawberries doing very, very well. Lots and lots of strawberries coming on these now. Lots of them. And the star of the show, look at this. How nice is that? That is ready to eat, and I'm extremely tempted to pick it off there right now and have a go at it. But yeah, lots of them following on all around the plant actually, and similarly on this one, they are coming everywhere on this plant. So that's the garden room. Let's take a little whiz outside. We'll not forget the chickens' vegetable patch this week. Look at this. Really coming on well. Both sides. Very nice. I think I just startled a chicken in the nest box. As I went up to look at the planting, there was a sudden flurry of activity inside. Potatoes outside, I banked those up the other week, and look at that, they're already shooting out. They do need banking up again. All of them actually. You can see where the soil debris from when I banked them up, and they're just shooting up everywhere. Look at this, down here as well, in here, shooting away, as they are in here. So really pleased with these potatoes outside, as I am with the swede. Look at this, they're trying to burst out of the netting. You can't even see the bottoms of the plants. Oh, there you can, maybe there, look. But yeah, really keen to see what happens with those. I daren't take the netting off because you can see something's been having a go at them. If I take the netting off, I suspect I'll lose all of these pretty quickly. Onions doing very well. Garlic, last year's garlic, they've got to be close now, I would have thought, to been ready to pull, and this year's garlic following on very nicely. Corn is through and leafing out all the way around the barrel, so really pleased with that. Somebody said I should put some netting over that, and I think you're actually right. I am tempting fate, especially given the number of pigeons around here, so I might do that today. The strawberries that got chewed by the rabbits are making a fight back, putting out lots of flowers, and there's actually little strawberries in there, I can see them, so they won't be too long now. And that's in both beds, they're both coming back quite strongly, so pleased with that. And finally on the raised beds, we've got a few swedes in there, and we've got a few cauliflower and broccoli in there. I had my doubts if they'd survive, and some of them didn't. You'll remember there were a few more planted down here, that didn't make it through those frosts we had, but these have, and they're coming on quite strong now. Multiple leaves coming out, and they'll be joined shortly by the ones that are inside the garden room. So last but not least, oh, remember I was talking about a garden gate? I put it in the polytunnel last weekend because it was raining, so it could dry out. So I've got the paint out ready to paint that. That'll be going home with me to replace the one in the garden at home that's died a death. It's almost disintegrated. The wood's rotted that much, so I've got a nice new one there. I'll get that painted up today. Polytunnel potato forest this year rather than a tomato forest. Massive growth on those, really pleased with those. And these other buckets are coming along. I banked those up again last weekend, and they're all popping through now quite happily, and they'll just sit now. I'll not bank these up, but look at how many sprouts are coming through in these buckets. Loads and loads of them. Really pleased with those. I've got 2 more buckets on standby. I'm tempted to pop those tubers in now this weekend into these buckets to get a bit more succession planting, and then gradually as we go through the year I'll probably add a few more, maybe 2 or 4 more. And then I'll start recycling through, because by the time I finish those and get those filled to the top, I suspect the ones at the end won't be far off being ready for harvest. Strawberries doing very well, lots of little strawberries peeking in there. Cucumbers also doing well, lots of leaf growth on those now. I'm hoping that they'll be scrambling up the little bamboo canes before much longer. Everything else is pretty much as it was. The lavender, the fig tree, lots and lots of growth on that now. I'm hoping that we'll get some figs this year. Cranberry, blueberry, equally doing well. This older blueberry bush is just littered. Look at all these. Everywhere you look, we've got blueberries. The actual berries coming through. Loads of them. Tomatoes doing well. Multiple leaves and shoots coming on those now. So it won't be too long before I need to get some framework up for those. And then carrots equally coming on really well. No sign in this bucket yet. These 2 were the last 2 I planted. Was it last weekend? I think it was last weekend. So I'm a bit ambitious, I guess. Waiting for sprouts on these. The more eagle-eyed amongst you might notice that the number of buckets seems to have reduced, and it has. I've had lots of requests for eggs and carrots, people wanting to borrow plants from me because they haven't planted. And these, last but not least, these little elderberry tree cuttings that I planted, really pleased with those. I didn't really expect all of these to come through, but they have. So at some point they can go outside now that I know that they're okay, and I'll just leave them to grow on until we get maybe a foot or so of growth, and then I'll pop those out into the ground somewhere on the field to carry on. And who knows, I might take some more cuttings of those. You can never have enough trees. So that's where we are. Beautiful sunny day. The grass is beckoning me with the little red tractor. But I need to do that garden gate first. Get some paint on one side of it, let it dry, flip it, paint the other side, and hopefully by the time I'm done today I can take that home with me. That's a little job to do at home. That's those garden stakes. You saw me bring those down last week, was it, or the week before? Can't remember now. So I've got my post driver for those, so at some point I'll experiment with those. The idea is really to fence off this area around the raised beds in the polytunnel to stop the critters getting in. It's the rabbits I'm bothered about. Everything's netted at the moment, so I'm not too worried about the birds, but I am concerned about the rabbits because they do have a habit, you'll know from previous videos last year, they've got a habit of trying to eat the way through the netting and dig up the beds, and I'm desperately trying to avoid that this year. So plenty of things to be cracking on with. As always, not quite sure which of those we will get done, but in my mind's eye I don't think it'll be long before I'm running around with the red tractor on that centre section. Well, that's one side done. One side to do. Well, while I'm waiting for the grass on the field to dry out, I just thought I'd take the chance to bank up these potatoes. Give me every possible chance for them to grow through the whole length or height of the barrel rather than just part of it. As always, it's a pain breaking this compost up. I have to make sure I'm working it all the way around the plant rather than just throwing it on top and hoping for the best. Always looks terribly messy once you've done this, but it does work. And I'll tell you what, we're almost out of compost. I've got one more bag in the polytunnel, and I suspect I'm going to use all of that just banking up these potatoes. So at some point I'll be running out to get some more. Well, that's the potatoes banked up, so that's their last banking up. We'll just leave them to crack on now and fill the tubs. I've painted my gate, I'll let that dry because it's actually sat in the sunshine now, and then another hour or two probably I'll give it another coat and that'll be ready to take home and fix the big hole that's in my fence at home. So I'm hoping now that certainly this side of the field, it's been in sunlight for a while now, that should be dried out nicely. I'm hoping this other side, which is just starting to get the sun, dries out quickly, and we'll have a little run round and see if we can't get that centre section finished with the grass cutting. I'm desperately needing compost. I have now literally run out. I've used my last bag on these potatoes. It's amazing how much you get through. So I'll be really pleased once I'm producing my own and I don't have to be running backwards and forwards to the shop and paying actually silly money for what is dirt at the end of the day. Well, as usual at the weekend, I've brought down some greenery for the chickens. They are funny. I scatter it everywhere deliberately so that they can all get in without fighting over it. And what do? They all end up congregating round one piece. Ah dear, they are crazy chickens. But it is nice watching them enjoying themselves. Anyway, I can't be sitting back relaxing. I think I'm going to get the tractor out and have a little look at this grass. Well, that's the little red tractor out. I'll just give it 5 minutes to warm up. I suspect I'll need to put some fuel in. Yeah, it's going to need some petrol, but I'll get the tank topped up and then we'll have a go at this grass. What I must always remember, of course, is as soon as I'm using these cans, as I drive home, take them to the filling station and fill them back up again. Never leave them empty. There we go. That's the tractor full. I've probably got half a can. I've got a small little 10-litre can somewhere kicking around. I'll fill that on the way home. I'll top up at the end of the day and then refill this one. Well, I'm getting a bit of deja vu from last week in that it's cutting, but it's actually clogging up in the chute that comes from the cutting blades into this little bag or hopper at the back. It's clogging up because it's very wet still, but hopefully as the day passes by it will start to dry out as it did last weekend. It just makes it a bit hard going at the start, but we'll get cracked on, get it dumped into the compost bins, and we'll go and set about doing a little bit more. Well, it's taken a bit of time, but I've kept pushing on and we've managed to get all the centre section done as well. So that's really nice. I am tempted now to I'll empty the grass out of the tractor and I'll just, I think, have another little run round the side of the woodland here just to trim that a little bit. At some point I'm going to have to pop out with a strimmer. There's a couple of little patches where I just can't get in with the tractor. So I'm tempted to have a run round there. I might or I might not, because I've noticed as I've been going round and cutting, there's some really nice wildflowers kicking about. Somewhere up here, oh there we go, there's a really nice patch of little wildflowers, and it would be a shame to to get rid of those. How pretty is that? So I don't know, I'll have a little think, but for now I need to get the grass emptied, pop some more fuel in, give it a bit of a rest, and then I might tackle up the side of this woodland again. Who knows? I might even now have a little cup of coffee. Well, I just couldn't resist. I've gone all the way to where these trees here are, all the way down, right down to the bottom by the compost piles. So it's been a bit of a long chew because it's been really wet, but it's done a real nice job. So I will let the tractor cool down now. I will definitely get a coffee because I've not had one since this morning. And then I might be tempted to just run across the roadside up to the entrance there. And I think that'll be it for today for grass cutting. Well, there we go. That's the top end of the field nearest the road done. So we've not done bad today. We've done all the way around this top section, all the way down the woodland. Managed to get the centre done as well. So all in all, not a bad day's work. Well, that's the last load just dropped off. So I'll get this in the compost bins. I keep promising myself a coffee. I just never seem to get it. So once I've moved this this cut grass, I'll definitely be having a coffee. Well, I don't know what's happening in today, but that thermometer is 45 degrees in the cabin. And where are we in the garden room? 43 degrees. I don't know if it's going to focus or not. That is ridiculous. But I just can't help myself. I've picked that strawberry. So bon appetit. I'm going to have that now while I'm waiting for the kettle to boil. Well, I've had to retreat into the shade. It is absolutely roasting. It's 45 degrees in the cabin, 43 in the garden room. I don't know where it is out here actually, just bear with me a second. It's actually on the wall of the cabin, which is in direct sunlight. It's actually showing 36 on the thermometer, so I've retreated out here with a cup of coffee. Been having a chat with my neighbour Gary. He's got the same idea as me. He's running around with a mower cutting the grass around his garden area. So I just need to sit for 5 minutes in the shade. I'm looking out though, and there are some grey clouds heading this way, so we might get some rain this afternoon. And to be fair, I wouldn't complain, because I've been running around in the polytunnel and the garden room. There's a little aeroplane flying over. Be nice up there now, looking down. Yeah, I've run around with a watering can. I've just checked the raised beds. They're all right, but if we have a couple of days of this sun, I might have to go and do a bit of watering out there as well. So I've got some containers filling up. I've used them all in the garden room and the polytunnel, so I'm just refilling those ready for tomorrow, and we'll see what happens today. A last job this afternoon. I'm going to run around with some of those fencing posts and just lay them out, try and get an idea of how far apart they need spacing and where they're actually going to sit. I will need some more. 10 is not going to do that for sure, but I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. Well, I'm just having a little experiment with these fencing posts. I'm trying not to get them too far apart. The ones around the boundary are about 8 feet apart, which is a little bit far apart for my liking, especially since I want to get the wire tight and I don't have any tools to do that other than brute force. So I've got them laid out at 6 feet apart down here. The last one's slightly over 6 feet, but I'll space them, 6 feet and a couple of inches as I go along to make up the difference. So that's that. The idea is run a fence all the way along the back of the garden area and then straight down the side down to roughly where the potato barrels are. I'll probably not go beyond them. I'll probably leave them sat outside, just catch the raised beds and then back across the front to meet up with the polytunnel. Well, that's the plan. And what I'm thinking is, on this space at the back of the polytunnel here, I thought that maybe that would be a useful place to put the fruit trees and just run them along to join with this tree here. And that way, as they grow, well, first of all, they're inside the fence, so hopefully that will stop them getting chewed to death by the critters. But they'll eventually form a little bit of a windbreak for the garden area and the cabin. That's my theory anyway. Clearly they've got a bit of growing to do before they'll be able to withstand the wind and act as a windbreak, but that's the theory. So I'm going to have a little experiment with one of these posts and see how hard it is. I'm guessing quite hard to get them sunk into the ground. Well, that's me out of breath. But the posts are in, which is all that matters. And to be fair, it's not looking too bad. So, just this side to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I might have enough to do the side, maybe. We'll see. Well, that's that bit done. Ah dear, if I sound completely worn out, it's because I am. But progress. I could have picked a better day to do this, really, rather than having these huge temperatures and brilliant sunshine. But the back's in and the side's in, and that's all the posts I've got. So the front is going to have to wait until I get some more posts. It's too late in the day now to be putting up the chicken wire, but I'm pleased with what I've got done. It's going to make a big difference, I think, for the garden area. Stop the rabbits getting in. Oh, we've got clouds clouding over. I think we are going to get some rain tonight, which is good. It'll water outside for me. I've put a second coat of paint on that gate to take home. I really need to get the little red tractor in the garage and start getting ready to pack up. Well, that's another day done. It's amazing where the time goes, it just flies by. But we're making some decent progress with compost pile. There should be more than that, in all honesty, but what I've done along that woodland area, as I've gone around, if it's been blocking up in the chute in the back of the tractor, I've actually just pulled it out there and thrown it over into the woodland. There's not much soil on the floor in there, and I hope if I just keep popping grass cuttings in there, it'll build up a bit of soil for things to grow. Chickens are just chilling outside. Everything's locked up. My fence posts are in. Definitely the wrong day to be doing that kind of manual labour. God, I have completely worn myself out doing that, but it's good progress. Got a nice bit of grass cut, got those posts in. I'll get another, I don't need 10, but I'll probably get another 10 just to finish off at the front here. Got my garden gate for home, got my jerry can for my petrol to refill that. I topped up a 5 litre can with what was left in that jerry can, so I've got 5 litres in the storage shed. I'll fill this is 20 litres. I'll fill this in the petrol station on the way home. So that's it for another day. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope you're staying safe and well and enjoying your weekend. I'll catch you all in the next video. Well, that's it for this video. I hope there was something in there that was of interest to you. If you did like the video, please do click on the like button. Also feel free to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. As always, I welcome any comments, questions or suggestions you might have. How about that strawberry, first one of the year? I can tell you it was absolutely delicious and I can't wait for some more to come. And how about the fence posts? How are they looking? It was a bit of a back-breaking job in the temperatures we've had today, but it's nice to see a bit of progress. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. But for now, thanks for watching and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.